Hi, welcome to the Brain Dump. We are three friends with a raw approach to exploring, discussing, and deconstructing life's challenges, including topics around friendship, parenting, relational difficulties, transitions and change, and understanding cultural values and belief systems. It is through these raw and real conversations we intend to portray a way to hold and work through the complexities of the multiple realities which coexist in everyday life. We are glad you are here. It's time to connect. Here's a little clip of where we left off on the last episode of The Brain Dump. You've named it, you've honored it, you haven't pushed it down, whatever side of it that may be. You don't feel silenced.
Yeah.
And so maybe possibly the triggers might be lessened because you're honoring yourself in that moment instead of letting the triggers drive you.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because that's something James actually suggested a couple weeks ago. He's like, why don't you just let me know who's showing up? Like, hey, is it anger here today? Is frustration here today? Like, I laughed at it and I thought, okay, that's fun. But I found myself not being able to do it.
Today on The Brain Dump, episode 3, part 2, naming the mess.
But
what if you don't name it?
Stuff.
What if you just use the words that are there? I'm feeling not good enough. I'm feeling, not naming it, I'm frustrated or I'm angry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm whatever those generalized labels are. But what if you're naming it with what is in there?
Just
You know
saying
what
it
I'm
out
saying?
loud.
Just saying it out
Yeah,
loud.
because I think
An
part of it
affirmation.
was like, okay, now I'm shit. You know, I could say something like that. And then I'm thinking, do I have a problem? Do I have a hormonal problem? Maybe I have this condition that my friend was just telling me about. It's called PMDD. And I was like, do I need to do something about that? Would that make me better if I figured out if I had this problem, then I wouldn't react this. So it's such this like insidious, like, I don't know, getting under the skin just to kind of boil until I burst. And then it's like, you know, then I throw up over everyone. But I do like the idea of naming it. And I can do that sometimes when I'm in a certain frame of mind. I can just say, this isn't about you. I'm feeling really frustrated. I don't know why sometimes I shut down and all that can come out of my mouth is
I'm
like
shut
nasty
down.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm shut down.
Saying it. I'm shut down. I'm trapped inside myself.
But also maybe, and I love this. Kieran and I made a word. I think it's banana. Can't really remember what it is at the moment. But I read it in a book and I loved it. They would say the date of their anniversary and they'd be like, October 18th or whatever it was. And that immediately everybody had to stop. They all went to their rooms for 15 minutes. And then after 15 minutes, if those feelings are still there, they come back and they talk about it. And it's not suppressing. It's just the vomiting that goes away. They still talk about all the same subjects, but that aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And so I've done it a couple times because I'm ready to just like fly off the handle and say the things that I don't want to say, or she is. But I'm wondering if in that moment when you're just feel like the world is imploding on you, if you can just do your own time out. It's time for a short break to remind you to like, subscribe, and share this episode. We want to connect with you, so don't forget to rate and comment below. Cheers to raw reviews. You know, it doesn't have to be everybody, but I do it a lot, actually. I leave the room because I just, there comes a point where my brain just can't take anything anymore, and I just fly off the handle and I'll start slamming doors and whatever. Yeah, it's just this intense rage that comes, and but I want to come back to what we keep talking about, which is honoring yourself. And what came to mind when you mentioned this PMDD was the word normal, right? Like you want to know that you're normal, you're okay, you're or you're moving through perimenopause, okay, or whatever. We want all of these things, well, at least I do, that I can quantify or qualify that I'm on the right path or I'm okay. And I almost feel like sometimes that parenthood is some sort of psychosis in and of itself.
Totally. It makes you crazy.
Right? Well, I thought about it the other day because, I mean, I'm sorry, Melda, I love you. I just don't know what would bring you to have another child. Like in my mind, all I can think about is all the baby stuff was gone. You know,
Do
like
it all over again.
To have to do that all over again.
I know.
Just drives me crazy. So what made me go into this was I feel like I am more true to myself now than I ever have been. And I think that's a lot of the work that we've been doing together. Mm-hmm. But there comes this overwhelming emotion at times, like I said, where I feel like it's psychosis. And so you times that by 2 or 3 kids, I think it's only natural to feel what you feel. And not that if you had this PMDD, would it be sad or anything like that. I just wanted to put that out there, that what you're going through is normal in a way. Not to say that your hormones might not be off or whatever, but to just acknowledge that these things happen and and to be okay. I mean, things don't always have to be rosy, you know, and I actually wrote that down in my journaling for this interview today. Oh no, I put it on LinkedIn, but I said, you know, we have this thought that when a situation is bad, that it has negative connotations. But I said, bad situations for me feel like a redirect, and a redirect for me means growth. And it may be uncomfortable and we may have to live in the unknown. I wrote this all on LinkedIn, but that's fun. Like knowing that there's going to be growth and a redirect from this uncomfortable, bad situation, is exciting at times. Living in it sucks. But knowing that something could come of it, and I don't think that you need advice or anything like that, because like you said, you just need validation. And I would hope that you would take away from this is just validating yourself in the moment of whatever is coming up for you. This is me today. You don't have to label it, but this is who you guys are dealing with.
This is who you guys are dealing with. Well, I think that's part of it. The accepting that it's okay that I have these moments, and that it's okay that we have these moments together. It doesn't mean anything detrimental or long-term is a problem. I think that's where I go often, is like, what does this mean? You know, is this just going to keep happening? Am I just going to cycle through this? You know, it's not even that I'm in the moment experiencing it. I'm experiencing it like 20 times in the next 20 days. Like, I'm concerned. Oh my God, this is just going to keep happening. And then I'm feeling it the 100 times it happened before. It's like PTSD. It's like it hits a nerve, and I'm feeling all the times it's ever happened, and all the fear of it happening again and again and again and again. And I think that's what makes me stuck. I get stuck in that response.
I mean, if it's a form of PTSD, then it's like a movie trailer that just keeps playing over and over and over again. And in order, I mean, it's like a military person who comes back from the army. Any time they hear a loud sound, it's like a gunshot for them, right? And so there's I mean, if these things are happening so often during the day, how
Mm-hmm.
could you think of it any different? You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, it would be like a gunshot going off in your ear each time, right?
Yeah.
Then you'd keep going like this,
Yeah,
and
there's like a contraction that
mm-hmm.
happens, and I want to hide and go far away from the situation.
And why
Yeah.
don't you?
Well, sometimes I do, but like this morning it was at breakfast. And so we were all sitting down to eat, and I just didn't feel like I could walk away, because partly when I walk away, there's also this other piece of me that I don't like, and I know that I shouldn't necessarily do it, but I'm doing it because I want the kids to feel bad, and I don't want that. Like it's a walking away, being like, I'm done, I'm walking away, is almost like a shaming them for what they're doing. So I don't always do it because I'm trying to not like walk away in that way. I mean, there's a different, I think it depends on how you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be more for me acceptable if everybody agreed that that's something we would do together. Like, okay, let's take a 5-minute break, especially if we're about to eat. Like, we're not going to go away for too long because we need to come back and eat.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could all just like disperse for a few minutes, breathe, and come back, because then maybe it could be like a restart. But I don't think that Jules would do that, because when she gets locked in, there's no unlocking it. And that's what is really hard, is like she gets dialed in, and then there's really there's no way out. I feel completely trapped by this situation.
So
the energy.
that sounds like to me that, how can I phrase this? I don't know. I'm just going to say it because it's the only way that I can process how my brain just took that in. But it almost seems like, and tell me if I'm totally missing this, the way that you react, you want to be able to teach her that she's not in control of your feelings. Like, do you want to be able to say, those are yours and these are mine? And this is the wall, and your feelings are going to reflect off that wall back to you, and my feelings are going to reflect off my wall back to me. But you can't control mine, and I can't control yours. So this is how mommy's going to show up for herself today. And the way that I just took that little piece was, it almost felt like it was a teaching moment for her. The way that you handle it is how you want to teach her to handle her own. And maybe and this is just all my interpretation. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Why you have that negative self-talk, because maybe that's not hitting the mark for you yet. I don't know. That's just how I saw that moment when you said, that she's locked in and you feel trapped. It's almost as if you want to own your feelings and you want her to own yours, but you don't want her to control yours. You want to be able to say, this is who I am today, and I see who you are today, and we need to just be okay with each other's. But that hers can't, like almost as if you have no Velcro, right?
Yeah.
Like it would just slide off because she owns that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was
Teflon.
Teflon. I couldn't think of the word. Not non-stick. I couldn't think of Teflon. I was thinking of a different word, and I'm like, that's not it.
Works too.
Yeah, like having her, like, okay, Jules, I see you, I hear you, I hear your frustration, and that's your space. It's almost like in Dirty Dancing. This is your space, and this is my space, and you're gonna stay over, but we're still touching. We're still connecting. Those vibes are still flowing between us, but you need to be responsible for yours. And if she's digging, you can either choose to interact or not, just whatever you want to show up and take control. And you talk so much about choice, and it sounds like you just are feeling like you don't have choice sometimes. And I don't like the word control, because that sounds more more negative, but more structured, because each situation is going to be different, right? And so you want to be able to show up one day one way, but a different way a different day.
Yeah, it's not the same all the time. And that's the conversation I had with her, is like, I don't have a solution that we can apply to every situation. But sort of my wish would be that, we can each have our experiences without like shaming or wishing it was different, because it is what it is. And I think we get into the suffering spiral when we're wishing it's different. And part of the problem is that she's always trying to have me fix it for her. And that's where I start feeling like I don't know right now. I can't. Like, you need to take this on. And so she looks to me so much to fix the problem. And I can't do that. And I told her today, I said, I need space sometimes. Like, I can't respond right away. I need time. And so we did agree today that we could maybe walk away and call each other on the phone. So this was her idea the other day. She called me when we had an argument and said, I think it would be easier if we just talk on the phone rather than in person. And I said, okay. And it really worked well. So I think it's just a part of the process would be recognizing when we're in the loop and deciding that it's time to move away.
To be continued on the next episode of The Brain Dump. Thank you for being with us today on The Brain Dump. Cheers to Raw Connections. We want to connect with you, so don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review, and comment below.